Hello everyone and welcome to issue number 86 of Anti-Life Reviews. And for July, for America's birthday, I celebrate the one man who exemplifies what it is to be an American. No, not Hunter S. Thompson, but Steve Rogers, Captain America. We're going to start with Jack Kirby's return to the character he helped create when we look at the MadBomb storyline, which ran from January 1976 to August 1976, which is comprised of issues 193 to 200 of the mainline Captain America comic book. Of course, I am the Tona Makaya, so go ahead and hit that red subscribe button as we dive right into MadBomb. Writers and artists on this, there's one person, Jack Kirby. I don't think I've really gotten to talk about Jack, which is a shame, because he is a man I admire intensely. He is, to me, the most important figure in comic book history without a shadow of a doubt. His creations are co-creations of the Fantastic Four, Captain America, the Hulk, the Avengers, characters of the Fourth World, and that's just a short list. And even in that, we see the importance of Jack, not only on comics, but on popular culture as a whole. Jack was a creative genius to me, has hardly had an equal since, honestly. On that note, he had not written Captain America since 1969 with issue 112, so it's pretty exciting to see Jack back to his old characters. Now I'm going to try to tell the story more comprehensively than going issue by issue. Sort of tested the waters last month, and I really liked how it went. The flow of it was a lot more natural. So let me know down below if you like this, or you like the issue by issue more rundown. Come upon Cap and Falcon arm wrestling, a little friendly competition, starting positions. We are told a mind wave strikes them from a mad bomb, which they know nothing about, which causes them to explode with hate. After a brief brawl, they snap out of it, but the whole city block has gone crazy. People are fighting, killing. There's incredible destruction. Cap susses out the mad bomb, manages to destroy it before a guy brains him with a hammer, but the block is in shambles. Death and destruction litter about. S.H.I.E.L.D. takes Cap and Falcon to a training ground where we get some strange action, and Cap and Falcon are told by Henry Kissinger that an unknown terrorist group is creating a giant mad bomb called Big Daddy, and they will detonate it on the bicentennial. So the two are on the case, and S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to immunize Cap and the Falcon against the mad bombs, and it takes them out of commission for a little while, but they hope and pray it works. We meet the head bad guy, William Torrey, who is obsessed with undoing the injustices of the Revolutionary War, including the death of his ancestor by Steve Rogers' ancestor, probably named Steve Rogers as well. Cap and Falcon then investigate a place where S.H.I.E.L.D. agents have been going missing when they are attacked by a giant and some cultists that are clearly the bad guys they are looking for. After a tense fight, they are captured. They found out the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were experimented on have been turned into mutant slaves, and the two heroes have had enough and are ready to act. Cap and Falcon rally the mutant slaves to their side, and with their help, escape their confinement. And frankly, Cap and the Falcon beat the living shit out of everyone, till they are surrounded and meet Cheer Chadwick, whose father is a high-ranking member of William's elite, and she wants to sway Cap and Falcon to her side. S.H.I.E.L.D. finally becomes aware of where Cap and Falcon are, and begins encircling the compound. The heroes get to watch some of the brainwashing done by the elites before being attacked and subdued by a man in a giant mech suit, who says that these two will not survive the arena and become soldiers, but Cheer thinks otherwise. Now, Cap and Falcon are wrangled into a death roller derby, and it's nuts, with flamethrowers, rockets, giant fan blades, mech suits, and skateboards. Not sure Jack knew what roller derby was. Cap gets real tired of this shit and decides to just start beating people up, which he does, quite effectively, may I add. He then gives a rousing speech to get people onto his side, and thankfully S.H.I.E.L.D. manages to break in and begins fighting the elite cultist people. And with Cap and Falcon's help, they turn the tides, but Cheer and her father escape with no knowledge of where Big Daddy is. S.H.I.E.L.D. has totally taken the entire compound. They found that Big Daddy was assembled here, but had been moved. S.H.I.E.L.D. has intel on a Mason Harding, convinced he had a hand in creating the Mad Bomb technology, and possibly Big Daddy himself. Turns out Mason has been forced into making the bomb so he can continue to take care of his sickly daughter, Carol, who he visits regularly. Cap is on the case, breaking in and talking to Carol, who spills the beans about what she knows. Cap also tries to comfort her. The next day they agree to meet on the beach, and while they are away, Falcon and S.H.I.E.L.D. take the compound. After a strange tussle with some beach hooligans, Cap and Carol share a tender moment. And now S.H.I.E.L.D. is one step closer to her father and the Big Daddy itself. S.H.I.E.L.D. continues to clean out the remnants of the elite forces compounds as Carol blames herself for her father's actions, saying if she wasn't ill, he wouldn't have to turn to the elites. Sort of a Breaking Bad storyline we got going on here. Speaking of them, Mason is in the clutches of William Tari, who refuses to let Mason go until the S.H.I.E.L.D. situation is cleared up. But Mason isn't stupid and uses a tiny MadBomb he had hidden in his hand on some henchmen before escaping, arriving later at the compound to tell Cap and Falcon what's going on. But at the same time, William begins his final plans to activate Big Daddy. Thanks to Mason's information, it's a two-pronged attack, with Cap and his agents to go to the Tari compound to handle the inner circle of elites, while Falcon and his boys go to stop the MadBomb in Philadelphia. Where else? After some classic Kirby fighting, Falcon and his men manage to take out the MadBomb and blow it up safely, while William Tari, in a last-ditch effort to save face, challenges Cap to a duel of pistols. But Cap is a bit too quick on the draw, ending the madman's MadBomb schemes. And in the end, the nation stands on its bicentennial, and the elites are handled. I just want to say first and foremost, this was so much fun, incredibly fun. I want to talk about the art. Kirby is kinetic, dynamic. Every page drips with action. It's big, bombastic, exciting as fights. There's 50 people on a page, and like Falcon is throwing a guy over a banister, and it's mad how exciting, how enthralling he makes every single issue of this. His art alone, like you don't even need to read the dialogue, and frankly, dialogue was never Jack's strong suit, so it's very clunky and exposition heavy, but it doesn't matter because of the action. The art leads you where you need to go. His good guys are strong and chiseled and manly, but all with a sensitive side. His bad guys are scowling, weak-willed, hunched, and hide their faces. His women are feminine but strong, curvy and raven-haired. His technology is almost beyond understanding. A simple gun or machine becomes this complex mechanism that borders on inexplicable. His outfits, the bad guys look like bulleteers in the most ridiculous way. But I want to give a special wow to his scenes of destruction, especially where the MadBomb is concerned. He makes a New York City block erupt with violence look so harrowing, so scary. I can't express my love for Kirby's art. It's what comics are. The story, God, bombs that make people hate each other, Revolutionary War cosplayers, evil roller derbies, guys in mech suits, freaks that look like deleted scenes from a Jodorowsky film, love stories on the beach, how the poor and downtrodden are exploited by compounds full of rich elites. I nailed some of that on the nose there. He's saying a lot. While there are some issues overall, it's mad. It's made these issues such a breeze. Like I was never bored, not for 1 second. I blew through 8 issues without even thinking about it. Now the parts I would say it lacked, Carol, she's never seen again ever in comics. Which that's a Kirby thing, is he was known to introduce characters and then never really know what the point of them was. Cheer Chadwick and her dad or another one, just kind of one-off nonsense. Cap and Carol being attacked by beach hooligans while their compound is being raided was really strange. Henry Kissinger showing up and the fact they had to go through a training ground to meet Mr. Kissinger. What? There's some weirdness you kind of have to overlook. Jack was just stream of consciousness sometimes, and not everything landed. Cap and Falcon as a team are perfect. Falcon is never shown to be lesser. They work together in almost every facet, and while this is Cap's comic, Falcon feels very much an equal partner in this. There is an even interesting moment where Cap is talking about the Revolutionary War and the elites, and the Falcon talks about how that part of history doesn't appeal to him because he had ancestors that were slaves back then. And I like that. It gives Falcon a reasonable political and ideological opinion in a simple conversation that isn't preachy. And Cap sees the point of view, but he has to see the importance of history here. It's nice that they have separate voices, but still feel cohesive without any issue. Cap also has a great line. Somehow, the Nazi ghost never seems to die within man. It marches with insane pride, respecting nothing, taking everything, and ignoring the pain of others. Jack with his deep hatred of Nazis as well as he should, but especially because of his time in World War II. And just a few things I noticed. William Tari's name changes from William to Malcolm and back again. Couldn't find a good reason, sans just being a mistake. So I guess that's what it is. S.H.I.E.L.D. never mentions that a bunch of their agents are turned into literal monsters. Can they be fixed? What happened to them? At the evil roller derby, the elites use a literal pot of gold to entice the winners. Like it's a like leprechaun pot of gold. I hope we see Carol Harding again. We see the elites again in the Thunderbolts, and then they are mentioned sometime later. But this one time, what is described on the cover as a love of Cap. If any writer needs a love interest for Cap, you have already made one. Jack already did the work for you. Overall, I always forget how much fun Kirby comics can be when he's in the mood. Sometimes they can drag a little bit with his clunky dialogue and throwing out a billion ideas at you. But once he kicks it into third gear, it's a whole new world. Jack is definitely a slow starter, but we're past that. It starts huge, it gets crazy, and it ends kind of somber in its own way. It was really good Captain America story, as well as a perfect example of Jack just being Jack. One of his favorite characters, or so I've heard. So not only was it a good story, in my opinion, an excellent start to Captain America month, I would absolutely 100% recommend this to any fan of Jack Kirby, any fan of Captain America, and any fan who just wants a wild and crazy story. Well, that was obviously week 1 of Captain America month here in July with MadBomb, and boy was it fun. Do you think mad bombs have been going off in the US over the past couple of years? That would certainly explain a lot. Let me know your theories down below. Also hit that subscribe button if you've not already. Check out my revamped Patreon, as well as my podcast, the Dark Peaks Podcast, and be back next week when we look at Captain America, Blood on the Moors. This has been the Totem Micaiah, Master of Minds and Men. Thank you very much, and goodbye.